so many emotions bubbling up inside of you? Well, then you found the right episode of Mind Your Health, Staying Well with RJ Keisha. At the very start, I'm going to invite you to stay with me right up to the very end because there are some beautiful tools that our guest today is going to share with us. We are welcoming Access Conscious Facilitator Neha Lonari, who is also a life skills trainer. And today she's going to make sure that you and I feel empowered to handle these emotions that we spoke about at the start. Well, let's welcome her into our space. So I am sitting right now in this beautiful space of Mind Your Health because we are welcoming somebody who is actually going to get all of us to think and to accept ourselves. I know it sounds thoda heavy, but it is going to be amazing. So thank you very much for joining us in Mind Your Health, Staying Well with RJ Keisha.
Thank you so much, Keisha, for having me.
So tell us, what is this journey about uniquely imperfect that you've actually created an entire workshop?
So, well, Keisha, it all started, I would say, 7.5 years ago when I came across this life-transforming modality called Access Consciousness. And for the very first time when I underwent a particular training session in it, there was this word called consciousness. So that's when this thought was being introduced to me that consciousness means including everything and judging nothing. I was like, wow. And that's so heavy and that's so expansive and that's so liberating. And that's when I was questioning myself that how about if I start practicing consciousness in each and every area of my life, right from my health to my finance, to my relationship, to my career. And what different reality can I then experience with such consciousness? And it all began from there. And I started creating shifts in my life, big shifts in my life, I must say. And I said, how about if I also help others in making them believe that more is possible? And you and your existence itself is a big celebration. You are a gift to this world. Are you embracing yourself as a gift? And that's when this entire concept of uniquely imperfect happened. And I'm doing this program now.
And you're here with us and you're gifting each person who's watching right now a kind of taste on of this journey that you are on and the workshop. So let's go ahead and enjoy it because we are ready.
Keisha, I want you to tell me 3 things that you love about your personality.
I love my smile because I believe that it's like a projection of who I am. I love my warmth and I love my energy.
Okay, now I want you to also reflect and tell me 3 things about your personality that make you feel uncomfortable, that you're not very comfortable about.
Now we're getting into those murky waters and I don't like my ruminating, my overthinking. I'm overly critical and I am still finding out about technology. So technology kind of gives me the heebie-jeebies.
So when you were saying these 3 things to me, how were you feeling?
Uncomfortable.
And that's exactly what, Keisha, all of us go through. Like all of us, none of us are spared from this. So when we think about our strengths, we have a big list. But then when we start thinking about things that we want to work upon, and so to say the term called as weakness, it puts us into a space of judgment where we start judging ourselves. And moreover, we start wronging ourselves. We go into our wrongness. So this is wrong. This is not working for me. Me being such an overthinker is not working for me. It's wrong. Or sometimes other people come and tell us that, you are so emotional. You trust people so easily. That's why people exploit you. You are such a giver. All the time you give things to people. So sometimes we judge and sometimes we buy into the judgments which people have projected at us. Yeah, the very first thing here is that how about if you start looking at all of these things from a different lens, from a lens of consciousness. So consciousness is not about you being awake. It's about you accepting and including everything. Whatever is in your surrounding, whatever is in your personality, you're including it and you're not judging anything. Now, just to simplify this, Keisha, I want you to imagine for a bit that you have stepped into a beautiful hill station. Let's call it Darjeeling, maybe.
I'm there, and I was in Darjeeling last May, so I'm there.
Lovely, lovely, lovely. And there are these majestic mountains around you, lush green grass, flower beds. How do you feel?
I feel amazing and relaxed and joyful.
Now, why were you feeling satisfied and relaxed and refreshed? Is because nature is so inviting. Nature never judges anything. So nature has that energy. Now, that energy is consciousness. Now, do you have that energy for yourself, for your own self? Now, once we embrace that energy, once we start being that energy, we are being the energy of consciousness. Where we are saying, hey, okay.
So you're saying that just being able to accept it all, being able to accept the good and the stuff that I'm finding not so good, being able to find and accept the comfortable and the things that are not so comfortable, that is what consciousness is.
Absolutely. I would say accept and include, because it's a part of your personality.
So what if I do want to work on one area, but you're saying before I work on it, I need to accept it?
Accept it and include it with the energy that it's a part of me. This is a trait that I have. And wow. And it's unique. It's unique.
So let's get everybody who's watching right now to get one area that they really want to work on. Just one.
Yes. So once you reach that space, that energy of consciousness, then comes the next step where you say, okay, I would like to change something. And to change something, you're not operating from the space of judgment that I have to fix this. But you're like, okay, there is something else that I can do here. And that's when you ask a question. And that is, what else is possible? Ask this question.
What else is possible? So I'm going to be taking maybe the characteristic of overthinking and overanalyzing. And when I say what else is possible, I'm thinking that this that I'm doing is because I wanted to get better. The thing that I'm working on and I'm overthinking is because I wanted to be the best it can possibly be. So maybe instead of getting in and judging it, I can savor it for what it is. And,
Yeah.
and then see for the next time, I can maybe bring in something else.
Sorry. It's about just asking a question. Now, what else is possible, and not coming up with an answer. Because what happens is our mind is so logically trained that we come up with an answer. Oh, what else is possible? Maybe A, maybe B, maybe C. No, maybe something else might just show up. Maybe you might just get a project where you may require to think and use your overthinking ability in a far more channelized way, where you really have to put critical thinking and analyze it, and you are coming up with some creative project.
What else is possible is definitely a go-to question for me now. What else is possible? When you're feeling down and out, what else is possible? When you're feeling overly anxious or overwhelmed, what else is possible? What else is possible? Wow, Neha Lonari, thank you. That is beautiful.
Yeah.
So let's move forward on this journey.
Yeah.
So you've got us to include and accept. You've got us to ask what else is possible. And then when we move forward, what else is waiting for us?
So what else is possible? Once you ask, a lot of things will open up. A lot of possibilities will start showing up. And then you make a choice. You have to always remember that more is possible. Because when we think with our logical mind, we get confined. We only can think of 1, 2, 3, maximum 10 options. But when we ask a question, there are more options that show up, and then you can make a choice. So that choice comes from the space of empowerment and not helplessness. So that's one thing that you could do after asking a question, that make a choice. And another very important thing is that what else is possible in asking a question is not only limiting to your own self. What about your relationships? What about practicing consciousness in your relationships? Because if you are imperfect, so are others. And when we judge others, we raise barriers, and we are not able to see for who they are and what they are. And we get stuck with that one trait, and we try to fix that up, or we try to fight that. But when we practice consciousness there, That's when we'll be able to surpass those barriers, those walls, and we'll be able to include them. But again, that does not mean that accept whatever that they are doing. Now, here's another exercise that all of you can do. Hikisha, have you seen the traffic signal?
All of us,
Now,
right?
here, I'm proposing for you to use the green signal more often in your relationships. So, when the green signal goes on, the green signal doesn't judge the driver. The green signal never says that, hey, you're a rash driver, I won't let you in. Or you're riding a bicycle, I won't let you in. The green signal is green signal. It means go, drive. It's allowing people to drive. So imagine if you use this green signal in your own life, in your relationship. Now, there are all kinds of people. Great. Now, what about it? What about it? So, firstly, can I include them? Yes, I can include them. Secondly, is their behavior harming me or creating any kind of disturbance in my reality? If yes, then comes the second step. Then you can use your red signal. That's when you can say that, okay, this won't work for me, but I can still see the person for who he or she is. I'm including that person. So I may not make a choice to hang out with that person, but I am not looking at that person from the space of judgment.
How do you work on self to get to a space of having an equilibrium, to get into a space of being centered?
So very valid point, Keisha. This is something which is very difficult and we have to develop a muscle for it. The very first thing is you can start practicing consciousness with your own self. Start journaling the things that you really are uncomfortable about and write it down. And write it down and you will see that a lot of points will come to you when you start journaling, and then see what energy comes to you at that time. And then as I said, start using this question, what else is possible? So once you reach to a level where you're conscious and you're using this question, what else is possible, leave it. Just leave that diary or that journal aside and just do your thing. Just get busy in your daily work, whatever that routine that you have. But keep that question in your mind that what else is possible, and things will start showing up. So that's the very first thing that you can do. And meanwhile, at the same time, you can also be more observant about your relationships. At least start with the close ones, maybe your family members. What is it that irritates you the most? Where do you get triggered? And then first practice the energy of consciousness. Include them. Become that majestic mountain who's including you and you're including them. So consciousness is the very first step to begin with.
I think this is beautiful. It's going to take a lot of self-work, but the beautiful thing is that when you're working on yourself, you're becoming a better version of yourself, a better version from yesterday to today. And you've given us tools, tangible tools, questions that we can ask when things are not really going our way, on what else is possible. And I know that you wanna share something else with us, because as we look at other relationships before going out into the big bad world or the big wide world, let's not judge the big wide world. Let's look first at our loved ones, the 3 4 people who we are constantly in touch with, and accept and include. I think that's beautiful. But as we move to the close of this episode, I know there's another gift that you want to share with us.
Yeah. So the third gift is about making choices. It's all about making choices. So once you reach to a level where you're conscious, where you've asked a question, and a lot of things have opened up, possibilities have started showing up. Now comes the point of making a choice. And here is one area where people actually squirm and they hesitate and they resist, because choices is difficult area to practice. Once you make a choice, it's your responsibility because you have made that choice. But what is that one choice that I'm making? But the choice has to be a different choice. It cannot be the one which you have been doing all this while, because it's not working out for you. So you have to make a different choice. But when you make a different choice, again, you're operating from the space where more is possible. So choice is the last tool that I would like you all to reflect upon, because that just gives you the ownership and it gives you so much more space.
You've given us space to accept ourselves, space to include ourselves, include loved ones, and I think a lot more power in our hand in this episode. You definitely got us into a better space, and we need to keep practicing. What else is possible? You've made sure that life can be a little more beautiful. Thank you for joining us in Mind Your Health, Staying Well with RJ Keisha. What else is possible? That is the question right now, without attaching too many of these emotions. Accept who you are and then ask the question. And when I'm thinking of the question, I'm also thinking that you subscribing, you pressing the bell button, you sharing, and especially commenting. I want to know that you watched this episode and I want to know what you think. And then, of course, I want to connect. So, thank you for joining us in this episode of Mind Your Health, Staying Well with RJ Keisha.